Well, as I sit here and wait for another load to get this week started and continue providing services up and down the road from Texas to Florida, Florida to New Mexico, Wyoming, guess I'll refresh myself on a little bit of the rules of law.
The Posse Comitatus Act is a United States federal law signed on June 18, 1878, by President Rutherford B. Hayes. The purpose of the act, in concert with the Insurrection Act of 1807, is to limit the powers of the federal government in using federal military personnel to enforce domestic policies within the United States. It was passed as an amendment to an Army appropriation bill following the end of Reconstruction and was updated in 1956 and 1981. The act specifically applies only to the United States Army and, as amended in 1956, the United States Air Force. Although the act does not explicitly mention the United States Navy and the United States Marine Corps, the Department of the Navy has prescribed regulations that are generally construed to give the act force with respect to those services as well. The act does not prevent the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard under state authority from acting in a law enforcement capacity within its home state or in an adjacent state if invited by that state's governor.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Someone better squabble up.
You would think it would be clear with the research, but everyone's always worried about what Uncle Jeb said or Joaquin or Tim or somebody else instead of doing your own research and understanding what's really going on.
So the provisions most directly say that it is just not lawful to use the Army of the United States as a posse comitatus or a group of armed persons for the purpose of carrying out laws. So the initial purpose of the act was just to limit the federal government's power to use the military for policing.
All right, got it. This is where the president comes in. He says he's going to send troops to enforce things, and people are saying, well, you can't because of this act, right?
Right.
It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary because the immigrants we're talking about aren't coming over across the border. Obviously, there's an issue. We need to secure our borders. No big deal. But have you ever thought maybe the soldiers are there to keep Americans in? Because I kind of think that there is a high volume of Americans leaving right now.